All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We have here with us a World Cup FIFA assistant referee. He will introduce himself and tell you all about it. Here on another edition of Tell Your Story on Ref Corner, where we interview the referees and we ask them pertinent questions, see their lifestyle and how they enjoy the work of being a referee. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Caleb Wales. I am a FIFA assistant referee from Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. Well, it is a pleasure having you here in Jamaica. I have seen you on TV. I've watched your development. I've seen you over the years, and I must say, as a proud Caribbean son of the soil, we are proud of you. All right, Caleb. How did you get started in refereeing?
I started my career all the way back in 2006. That's when my father introduced me to refereeing, he himself being a referee. He asked me to do the course and I said why not, and I tried it. I always loved football, so it was easy for me to fit in and become a referee.
Okay. Did you play the game at any level?
I did play, but in high school level, but I focused more on my studies, so I never really got deep into it. But
Okay.
I do enjoy watching and playing from time to time.
Okay. Great. For the viewers and the subscribers, what position you played?
I will have played mainly defense, but I know as I get older, I try different positions, even goalkeeper.
Okay. All
I
right.
was
Great.
strong in defense.
All right. In officiating in your home country, say the top flight game in your home country, how different is it officiating in under 20 in CONCACAF versus a Nations League game? How different it is?
Well, one thing for sure is when you start to climb the ranks, the game changes a lot. The intensity changes. So from our local game back in Trinidad, which is probably one of the top leagues in the Caribbean, you then go on to CONCACAF level games, and from there the intensity still rapidly increases. Then you even make it to FIFA level, and you see that's where all the bells and whistles are. The game is fast, it's very intense. You have to concentrate a lot. It's very demanding as you go up the ranks.
Okay, great. How difficult was it for you to transition from local level to regional to international? And we're gonna delve in your World Cup journey in a bit. How difficult was it?
It was difficult. It's a learning curve. You get sometimes you get thrown into some difficult games and you have to adapt. And there is a learning curve. So from the time you go from local to regional, there's something you learn, and then you get some experience there. Then you start to do international, and there's even more learnings you have to do. And it takes a while. It takes a while for us to elevate to that, but you have to gain experience and grow with it.
Okay. In officiating, say, Nations League game, two tough teams, two rival teams, what are some of the things you do to pump yourself up? Some referees, they talk to themselves on the game, they talk to themselves the night before. They don't do anything out of the way to get hyped, to get ready for the game. What are some of the things that you do to prepare you for that big game?
Well, my routine usually involves listening to music. Music usually hypes me up. I listen to a lot of soca music, so sometimes I put on a soca playlist, and that hypes me right up.
Okay, great. If you make a mistake in a game, say it's an intense game and you make, I got this offside wrong, you can feel it, you have that gut feeling. What do you do to ensure you doesn't make that same mistake or another mistake in that game?
Well, for sure, I usually talk to myself a lot. From the time I recognize maybe a call is not my best call, I pump myself up. I put decisions in the past and try to move on. So I do acknowledge the mistake, I learn from it, and from them I grow. And I speak to myself a lot. I tell myself never to commit it again, but every time something happens, you just leave it in the past and you try to officiate as if it's a fresh game.
Okay, very good. What would you say is your best game to date And while we on that side, if you should flip it, what would be your worst game you would never want to relive that game?
So I have a lot of best games. I have a lot of interesting, tough, challenging games. My most memorable game will have been the CONCACAF Nation League Finals in 2021. In that game, it was USA Mexico, and it went to extra time, and it was very intense. If I remember correctly, the game was at least 3 hours long because there was a lot of extra added on time for VR checks, for time wasting, for whatever it may be, and it was a very emotional and very exciting game. And for sure, I was on top of my game. In terms of games I like to forget, I probably have to go back to the local level when you were learning, you were growing, you made some very awful mistakes, and the only thing you can do is learn from it. And from then I've kept growing and growing. I may not make that much mistakes as I did before, but I'm always learning and growing. So in terms of the worst, there's pretty bad games, but I usually forget it and take the lessons from it and go on.
Right. So you're one referee who learn from your mistakes and try not to replicate that in future games.
Correct.
All right. So in summing up now, at the World Cup level, I know you had been, you went to the World Cup. Share with our viewers how different it is. What's the atmosphere like? What the person's like? What the camaraderie like in the preparation leading up to the World Cup and the actual World Cup itself?
Well, the preparation will have started years before, but exactly 1 year before, we will have had a preparation course where we visited Qatar, because the World Cup was in Qatar that year, and we will have trained with the top referees from around the region, CONCACAF, South America, and to name a few. Then, leading up to it, we had even more training courses and preparation, a lot of fitness training, a lot of technical preparation, and then from there you will have rubbed shoulders with some of the great referees in the world, and from there we will learn and develop.
Right. So people see you all the time on the TV running up and down and getting prepared for these big tournaments. They don't know the work that goes in to prepare you guys for a global tournament. Here you are saying that you had to be prepared 1 year in advance. 1 year. So many things could go wrong in that year leading up to the World Cup. All right, and they don't understand these things. A lot of preparation, a lot of sacrifice that persons have to put in to be at that level. Now officiating at that level, it must have been the biggest moment for you. How many games did you do, and what would you say was the icing on the cake for you in that World Cup?
In that World Cup I did one game, but just being there, the atmosphere was so surreal because you know that the whole world is watching. The stadium is full to capacity with fans, and just the moment, being caught up in the moment. The game I did was Wales versus Iran, and it was one of the last games of Gareth Bale, so being in a presence of a superstar who you will have seen on television, it's so surreal, and a lot of nervous and energy builds up, but you just go with the flow. You make one good call, make another good call, and then all of a sudden you have a game on your hand, and it was a very exciting and difficult game.
Wow, that must have been so amazing. I must say again, it was a pleasure to interview you. I've seen you on TV, I've watched your development. Your countryman Rashard, we go way back from the years of 2014, 2015. So again, it was a great pleasure in having you on Ref Corner, and I wish you all the best in the future. Hope to see you in 2026. I will be there watching in CONCACAF, and have a safe flight home. Thank you for being on Ref Corner.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
All right, bless up.